Hello students. So today we are going to learn the 12th part of vector series. Till now we have covered 11th part and the next part, which is nothing but representation of a vector in three-dimensional space or rectangular vector in three-dimensional space, as well as another concept that is nothing but direction cosine. So today we are going to cover these 2 points and some examples related to these 2 concepts. So already I have told you how to represent any vector in a 2-dimensional space. For example, if we have any object or any vector, for example, let's take force. Force is a quantity which is a vector quantity because it has magnitude as well as direction. So you know that when we pushing any object by applying some kind of force in any single direction, then we call it as a 1-dimensional space. If we are forcing that body in 2-dimensional space, then we called it as a 2-dimensional. And similarly, if any object is showing movement in 3 dimensions, let's say x, y and z, 3 dimensions, then how to represent that vector. Till now you covered how to represent any object movement or any particles movement in a 2-dimensional space, but we know that in 11th standard we have 3 dimensions to study. Till 10th standard you have gone through only 2 dimensionals, that is x axis and y axis only. So first of all you should know what is 2 dimension, what is 3 dimension, or what is 1 dimension. A quantity having single aspect, for example length of wire, it has only length, so it is 1 dimensional. If you go for rectangle, it has length as well as breadth, means 2 aspect, then it is called as 2 dimensional. Similarly, let's take a cube. Cube has length, breadth and height as well. So it is a 3-dimensional aspect. So for example, let us take a single point which showing movement in 3 dimensions. First of all, we should know coordinate system x, y and z. So let's say this is our coordinate system. This is our x axis, you know that. This is our y axis. And this is z axis. You can observe same symmetry near you, okay, in your home, in your room, at the corner you can see that same symmetry x, y and z axis. Now I am telling you concept that movement of object in 3-dimensional, so you can observe same concept near your corner in your room, okay. No need to go for any virtual imagination by watching any other video. You can just imagine same concept in your home by watching the corner, okay, x, y, z axis. So let's say we have one point P here, having coordinates x, y, z. These are the coordinates of point P. So now point P denotes or indicates objects or any body showing displacement or showing movement in a 3-dimensional. What does it mean by 3-dimensional? I will tell you exactly. So you can see the point P. At a point P there is object. Assume that there is object. It has covered distance of x on x axis. This is the axis. This is the axis. Similarly, this is also axis and z axis. So at a point P, let's say there is an object which showing displacement in a 3-dimension. So you can observe that the body has displaced by x distance, okay, x distance, by x distance, you can see here. Similarly, a body at a point P or object at a point P displaced by distance y, you can see here, this is y distance, you can call it as a y distance. And similarly on z axis, now the problem here is this green board is a 2-dimensional structure because this board have only length and breadth. So whatever object I am going to draw on this green board will be definitely 2-dimensional, because actually I want to draw the z axis like this, okay. I will tell you how. See here, okay, wait 1 minute only. See carefully. This is x axis, this is y axis. Now actually z axis here on green board you are observing like a two dimensional, but actually z axis is like this. You can see the angle between x and y axis is a 90 degree. The angle between y and z is also 90 degree, and the angle between z and x axis is also 90 degree. So z axis is not like this. On this board I can draw like that, na? But actually z axis is like this. I cannot draw in air. I cannot draw a line in air. So actually z axis is like this. Now see, this object or this point P is actually not here on a blackboard, on a green board. I have to draw it here. Actually this point is like here. Now its projection is on here. Okay, so point P is like here. So you can see on x axis, let's say point P is here, this point P is here, this point P is here. So you can see that x axis, this much distance. Similarly on y axis, this much distance. Similarly from z axis, this is the z axis. So from z axis there is some distance. So we have to draw it like this. Let's say this much distance. So it will go like this. Are you getting it now? This is x axis, let it be as it is, y axis, and actually z axis is not like this, it is actually like this. So this is x, this is y, this is z, point P is here, point P is here. So on x axis distance, on y axis distance, on z axis, this is the distance on z axis, this is the, but now it is a two dimensional, that's I have to do like this. Actually z axis is like this. Again I am telling you, I am repeating you because I don't want to make you confused. See again, point P is not here, point P is here, somewhere here. So on x axis, on y axis, on z axis, this much distance, here is point P, na? So you can see that this much distance, let's say point P is here, so this much distance is on z axis. It is a three dimensional, that's why we get confused, because we are drawing three dimensional structure on two dimensional board, so it get confused. So I hope you got the point. So the angle between all three axes are 90 degree. Okay, now see, I have told you in a previous part, if you want to draw any vector, then what you do, you just give bar to that vector. Let's say force quantity, so we represent it by F bar. Okay, so let's say this vector P, this is a vector, this is a vector A bar, this is a vector A bar. Again come back, this much distance P point has covered, this much distance P point has covered on x axis and on y axis. Similarly this much distance P point has covered on z axis. You can see it in a three dimensional. So now let's say we have any random vector A bar. You know that we represent vector by giving a bar on top of that symbol. For example, for force we represent it by F bar. So if I want to show vector on only x axis, then you know that how you represent it, like this. Ax bar is equal to Ax into I cap. You know that. So how does it mean? If any vector is showing displacement only on x axis, you represent it by Ax bar. Okay, because the vector is along the x direction, is equal to magnitude of that vector, means distance. Let it be distance. If this is a force, then magnitude of force in a Newton. If that is the length, then definitely in meter, into I cap. I cap is nothing but the unit vector. And what is the significance of unit vector? I have told you in a previous part. So unit vector is nothing but which describe the orientation of your vector. Orientation means actually in which direction your vector is going on. That is the significance of unit vector. So always we get magnitude of that vector and into unit vector, along that direction of vector. So here our vector is going in x direction, that's why we have took I cap. Similarly for y direction, so it will be ay into definitely j cap, you know that. Let us say our object is only going in y direction, so that's why we took ay bar, and for z direction is equal to az k cap. If you took only single observation here, only single observation, then it is a one dimensional, then it is a one dimensional, then it is a one dimensional single observation. But here our point is traveling in a 3 directions, so definitely it is a 3-dimensional structure. So how to represent now such vector? So the simple method is just take that vector a bar, or we can say here we can represent given vector in 3D space as below, and what you have to do, just take that vector a bar is equal to ax I cap plus ay j cap plus az k cap. Ax, ay and az are the components along x axis, y axis and z axis. That means distance measured or the magnitude, we can say. The more clear or more perfect word will be its magnitude, not distance, because always it's not like the length quantity, it will be force or other quantity, so we can take it, we will take it as a magnitude. So this is the magnitude, this is the magnitude, this is the magnitude along x axis, along y axis, along z axis, and this is the vector a bar. This is how we represent a given vector if it is showing displacement movement in a 3-dimensional space, or in single word we can represent any vector in a 3D space like this. If it's showing displacement movement in a 3-dimensional, then we represent it like this. Now how to find out the magnitude of such vector? Okay, in the previous part we have gone through 2-dimensional magnitudes, but now how to find out the magnitude of 3-dimensional vector? So the simple method again, just took magnitude of a bar is equal to square root x component square plus y component square plus z components square of that vector. Here for example we have took a bar, it can be f bar, it can be any letter, s bar if it is a displacement, s bar if it is a velocity, v bar if it is acceleration, it is a bar, you know that. Okay, so this is how we represent, and this is how we find out the magnitude. So we can write here after that, after writing this, and magnitude is given as, okay, so after that note it down. Okay, just note it down. Okay, now the next point is direction cosine of given vector. If they provide us any vector and say us to find the direction cosine of given vector, then first of all we should know what is direction cosine, because on direction cosine they have asked a question on in MST CET, in JEE exams or in a NET exam also. So direction cosines are nothing but the cosine angles. You know that in mathematics you use sine, cos, tan, cot, sec, cosec like kind of trigonometric function. So direction cosines directly indicate the cos angle. Direction cosine directly indicate the cos angle. First of all, this word direction, you know that in a previous part, maybe in third or fourth part, while solving some addition laws of vector, you know that how to find the direction of given vector. We just we just finding out the angle between the vector, that is nothing but the direction of given resultant vector. Okay, so here also direction cosine is nothing but just they are trying to just show the direction of your vector from x axis, from y axis, from z axis. Okay, by just finding the angle between given vector and 3 coordinate axes. So direction cosine is nothing but angle, but the angle is cos angle. So direction cosine is nothing but cosine angle between vector and 3 coordinate axis. So by this you can definitely imagine, or you can definitely analyze that there should be 3 direction cosine, because even if given vector is a single vector, okay, but it may create angle with x axis, it may create angle with y axis, it may create angle with z axis, or it may create angle with 3 of the axis at a single point. Because if the object is moving in 3-dimensional space, then definitely it will produce angle from x axis, from y axis, from z axis also. So direction cosine is the angle between given vector and 3 coordinate axis. Okay, so let's say we have point P here from origin O. This is our origin O. Let's find the position vector r bar. Position vector r bar of a point P. So you know that how we find out the position vector r bar. So r bar is nothing but you know that OP bar. OP bar. So it is equal to, now this point P is showing movement in a 3 of the axis. That's why how we find out the position vector, nothing but final point on x axis, which is nothing but the x. Let's say x, and initial point is as a origin, so 0. Coordinates of origin are 0, 0, 0, I cap, plus y minus 0, j cap, plus z minus 0, k cap. Therefore ultimately result will be r bar is equal to x I cap plus y j cap plus z k cap. You know this, and this is our position vector r bar, or OP bar also we can say. So you know that magnitude is given as magnitude of r bar that is equal to only OP you can take, because while magnitude we just move the bar. So OP is equal to square root x square plus y square plus z square. Okay, so we got the magnitude as well. Let's say this is equation number 1. Now I want to explain this by 3-dimensional way. Let's say you know that this is y axis, this is x axis, and this is z axis. Z axis is not like this. We cannot draw it in air. That's why we have to draw on this green board, which is nothing but 2-dimensional geometry. So z axis is like this. So now see carefully. We are going to find out the direction cosines. Direction cosines is nothing but the angle between vector, which is given vector, and 3 of the coordinate axis. So here simply you can see this is y axis, this is our vector. Now if this is the z axis, this vector is not like this. Actually this is like this. This is our vector. Here we have point P. Okay, so you can see that if you go through the origin, go toward the origin, see here one angle with x axis. See carefully once again. Just wait, I will elaborate more clearly. See here, this is our z axis. Okay, so this vector r bar is nothing but it's like this. Now see carefully, you can easily analyze things. This is y axis, this is x axis, this is z axis, and this is nothing but the position vector r bar. We cannot draw it in air na, that's why we draw it here like this. So actual vector is like this. So you can see this is z axis, I remove it. With x axis, this vector is creating some angle. You can see here angle, there is some angle. Similarly with y axis there is one angle, and with the z axis there is also some angle. Okay, I hope you got it. Now see, let's assume the angle with x axis is alpha, the angle with y axis is a beta, an angle with z axis is gamma. We call this letter as a gamma. It's a Greek letter. Three of the alpha, beta and gamma are the Greek letters. Okay, so let's go by single direction cosines one by one. Okay, so we know that we have three direction cosines here. So one by one we will go for initial first direction cosine, that is with the x axis. This is our point P having coordinate x, y and z. This is our x axis. So alpha here we have alpha. Now you know that this is r bar, this is r bar, and its magnitude is nothing but r. You know that because we represent magnitude of any vector by just showing that symbol. So this is the r. Now we will do some geometry here. This is actually x axis, this is actually x axis. So we will take its projection on x axis. Let us assume this distance is x. We don't know exact distance, that's why we are taking x. So see here, if we use cos angle, because definitely the name is direction cosine, so we will use cos angle. So cos alpha here, you know that cos alpha is nothing but adjacent side divided by its hypotenuse. So adjacent side here is x and hypotenuse is r. You know that. Okay, is it clear? So ultimate symbol of cos alpha is nothing but L in physics. Okay, so this is our first direction cosine. How to find out it? Just take displacement on x axis or magnitude on x axis, whatever the magnitude it's showing, that point or that vector on x axis, take its magnitude, divide it by whatever the magnitude of position vector. Okay, position vector will be given, or if they didn't give us, we have to find out first. After that take its magnitude. How to find out magnitude? You know that, just take square root x square plus y square plus z square. Okay, so this is our first direction cosine. Now the second direction cosine, definitely it will be with y axis. So you know that. Again similarly, this is point P having x, y and z coordinates. Now y axis, we do not go for x axis. Now we are going for y axis. Again we will draw some geometry here. So this distance is nothing but, let's say, y. You know that this is r. Magnitude of this position vector is nothing but r. You know this. You know this. So this is our origin. Origin is very important. Okay. So now here B. Next direction cosine, cos beta, because we have took angle between, I am extremely sorry, just change these angles. This is beta and this is alpha. So cos beta, this is r. So here we have angle beta. Do not get confused. This angle is beta. How to draw beta? Just do B letter. Okay, just draw B letter and increase the downward part. This is the cos beta. So you know that again cos beta, if we use cos angle here, again adjacent side is a y here. Here adjacent side of cos alpha was x axis. Here it has a y axis as an adjacent side. That's why we are taking y divided by hypotenuse is nothing but r. Ultimate symbol is small m. Okay, So now the third one. This is first direction cosine, this is second direction cosines. The remaining direction cosine is along z axis. Okay. So the third one we have to draw again this thing. So here we have now z axis. We will go for only z axis. Okay. So the angle was here. Actually the P point we are drawing like here, I know that, with x comma y comma z, but actually P point is here, you know that. This P point actually it's like this, here we have this point, so angle is like this. So this is our angle gamma. Okay. So now here we have draw the geometry, here we have draw the geometry, but here you have to analyze your own self. Actually let's say this is this much distance, so actually it's like this. Now it is a two-dimensional again, that's why you may get confusion. The point P is like here, okay, actually it's like here. Okay, so this is z axis, it's like this, I have to use this thing. Okay, so this is z axis, this is our position vector. So you can see here that here one angle, okay, here one angle. So how to represent the geometry? Let's say this is the final point, then we are going to like this. This is the projection. Here we have point P, okay. The ultimate end is here. See here, ultimate end is here. P point, just imagine P point is here. So okay, I will, okay, this is the projection because P point is here. So this is the projection. So this is z distance, okay, this is z distance and this is r distance. Okay, I know it's little bit difficult, so we will take cos gamma as adjacent side, here will be z distance, and again position vector r. So n is the ultimate symbol. So you can see here we have three directional cosines. This is a C, three directional cosines, direction cosine. First one is cos alpha, cos beta, and third one is cos gamma. L, M and N are the symbols for direction cosines. Okay, so three directional cosines I have taught you. So it's very easy. The only difficult thing is imagination of z axis. Okay, so if you got the imagination of z axis, then definitely it will be very easy for all of you. Okay, so just note it down, all these diagrams. Okay, I hope you note it down. Now the next part is just find out one simple expression for squares of a direction cosines. So you know that L, M and N, L, M and N are called as direction cosines, are called as direction cosines. Direction cosines. Let us do one little change. Let us observe what happens when we square all the direction cosine and add them together. So L square plus M square plus N square. So you know that L is nothing but cos alpha, which is nothing but x by r. But if we are taking here L square, definitely here also we have to take square. Similarly y by r square and similarly z by r square, because alpha is nothing but x by r, L is nothing but x by r, M is nothing but y by r, and N is nothing but z by r. Also x by r nothing but cos alpha, cos beta, cos gamma. So we will simplify it. X square by r square plus y square by r square and plus z square by r square. So r square is common here, that's why x square plus y square plus z square divided by r square is nothing but L square, M square and N square. Here we have mod r. Mod r is nothing but actually r. You also know this. Nothing but OP. OP is nothing but magnitude of OP bar. Similarly, r is nothing but magnitude of r bar. So if r is nothing but this thing, which is nothing but square root of x square plus y square plus z square, definitely r square will be only x square plus y square plus z square, because square will gone. So from equation 1, L square plus m square plus n square is equal to x square plus y square plus z square divided by x square plus y square plus z square, that is equal to 1. This is what I want to show you. So what does it mean by this whole experiment? So the final ultimate result is, if you square the direction cosine and add them together. So direction cosine is nothing but direction cosine of given vector. Okay, so direction cosine of given vector, if you square them and add them together, all of them, there are three direction cosines, ultimate result is nothing but unity, means 1. Ultimate result is 1. It's very important thing, because they may ask the question for any direction cosine, and they won't give you that square of addition of these three direction cosine is 1. No need to give by anyone, because ultimately it is 1, always 1. So you can note down the result, that so square of, sorry, we have to took addition, no? So addition of square of all direction cosine DC direction cosine of given vector, any given vector, is always unity. Unity means 1. Okay, note it down. Okay, now we will see one example regarding two concepts we have learned today. That is, first one, how to represent any vector in three-dimensional space and find out its magnitude, how to find its magnitude. And the second point was how to find out the direction cosine of any given vector. Here in this question, you can see that they have given us a vector a bar, who is performing its displacement in a 3 of the dimension, because you can see here I cap, j cap and k cap. Along x axis it has magnitude 5, along y it has magnitude 2, along z it has magnitude of 4. So definitely 5 is nothing but ax, 2 is nothing but a y, 4 is nothing but a z. So they are asking us to find out magnitude of this 3-dimensional vector. It is a 3-dimensional because all 3 unit vectors are there, I, j and k. And the second point b is nothing but find out the direction cosine of given vector a bar. So first thing we will find out is nothing but magnitude of a bar. Okay, magnitude of a bar. You know that how to find it out is nothing but ax square plus ay square plus az square. See here, they have given us notation a, that's why we are taking ax, ay, az. If they have given us b, we have to take bx, by, bz. Okay, notation will change, there is no issue regarding that. So ax is 5, so 5 square plus 2 square plus 4 square, so that is equal to 25 plus 4 plus 16. You know that 25 4 29, 29 6 35 and 10 45. So is nothing but 45 is the value of magnitude of a bar. Magnitude of a bar is nothing but a. So in a direction cosine we have took this notation as a r. Here the notation is a. Okay, now the second point b, small b, direction cosines of a bar, direction cosines of a bar. So the first direction cosine was L, which is nothing but cos alpha is equal to x divided by r. So x is nothing but actually ax, okay, x is nothing but ax. So x is the distance on x axis or magnitude on x axis. You know that magnitude on x axis is a phi. Now r is replaced here by a. So notation will change, there is no issue regarding that. So it has magnitude of 45. Second one, m cos beta y by r, magnitude of y 2 divided by 45. You can write here a rather than r because here notation is a, that's why we are taking a, that's it. And the third one is small n, cos gamma is nothing but z by a. So z is nothing but 4 divided by 45. This is the answer. Now how to check the answer is right or wrong? So I have told you that addition of squares of direction cosines, all the direction cosines, always unity. So just check it out. Is L square plus m square plus n square is equal to 1? If this thing, question mark. Why question mark? Because we are going to check it out. Actually answer is there is no issue. In any option there is such answer, just tick it, there is no issue, okay, just choose it, it's okay. But for our comfort, for our confirmation, we can check it. So alpha square is nothing but 5 by square root 45 whole square. Similarly 2 by square root 45 whole square, and final one is 4 divided by 45 whole square. So if you calculate this 25, 4, 29 and 16, 45, and here square root 45, square root 45, square root 45 will come as a common, and square of square root 45 will be only 45. So 45 by 45 is equal to 1. So the answer is right. This is how we solve the question, okay. Thank you so much for watching this lecture. If you like this lecture, please do subscribe my channel, like, comment and share as much as possible, okay. Thanks.